at the end. Okay, here we go. We can now get started, which is great. Let's go. Gonna make sure that the live is done and started. Here we go. Great. Now, guys, thanks a lot for coming. Gabriel, Julia, your boy here today. We are going to talk about, let's get directly into the subject. I'm going to share my screen and share with you the slides that I made so you can, get a little visual support of what I'm going to talk about. The subject of today's video is why you need an unbreakable online marketing strategy. Why do you need that? Well, there are a few reasons why you should get an unbreakable online marketing strategy, because a lot of things are changing. This is specifically with online marketing. This is something that changes every day and that you pretty much need to be aware of what's happening. But I'm going to share with you tips and strategies so you can make sure that whatever happens in the current space, because that world is moving so fast, whatever happens, you are always set it in stone and you will have strategies that will work over the long term. That's what I want to focus on today. Remember, the Marketing Commandos show is every day, yes, Monday to the next Monday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Quick introduction on me. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Gabriel Julia. I'm the founder and CEO of Julia Media and Julia Productions, making sure your video and photo needs and your online marketing needs are covered and that you're expanding and grabbing some market share. Let's go. Now, let's get back to the subject. Why you need an unbreakable online marketing strategy. Remember, subscribe now to make sure you not miss any episode. Hello Clubhouse, if you want to participate and ask questions, that's something I'm going to implement in the future. Go on the Clubhouse so you can ask your questions live and I'm going to answer them live. That's cool. And if you want to be a part of that or benefit from that, search Marketing Commandos on Clubhouse and you will be able to ask your questions. New episode every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's get started into the first subject. Hey, how to dominate online marketing, even if you are not tech savvy. And I can get it that sometimes it can get a bit tricky because you get all those things that are happening and you're like, okay, I struggle to post on YouTube or Instagram and you ask me to do all those things. I don't want to add any more things that makes basically the whole process a headache. And I get it, I'm with you. So that's why I'm going to share with you 3 little points that you can use to make sure whatever happens, even if you don't know how to use those platforms at the full of their capacity, I'm going to show you processes that you can apply on all of them and that will be evergreen and that you will be able to use to grow dramatically. Number 1, hey, master the strategy, not the tactic. Now, what do I mean by that? Especially in the military, we say the strategic vision is the long-term vision. The tactics are the little things that make sure you go to the strategical end of the plan. But there is an important thing when I'm saying, hey, master first the strategy, not the tactics, because what happens if you try to learn, what I mean by the tactics is all those things like that are working like, hey, 1 month or 2 maximum, maybe a few weeks, oftentimes that's a few weeks, sometimes days. And after that, it doesn't work anymore. Do not focus on that. Focus on the things that work, that always worked. Sometimes principles that started, hey, 30 years ago that are still relevant today, use those strategies. Prioritize that instead of prioritizing the little fad, the little thing of the moment. Number 2, apply evergreen strategies. So that joins the point I made previously, which is you need to use strategies that will be time-proof, that you will be able to use now, 30 years ago, and that you will be able to use in the future. And there are things like that because I see a lot of people, they don't understand how online marketing is just another platform. And the platform doesn't matter. When you master the principles, the evergreen principles, things that you will be able to apply in whatever platforms you are using, if you master those principles, you will be able to get incredible results and you do not need to learn everything that's happening. That's what's incredible. That saves you a lot of time, a lot of money, and you get incredible results. Number 3, commit first, figure out the rest later. Like, I get it that you want to start and get started with your online marketing strategy. I get it, but do not have that approach of trying to figuring it all out before doing some things. Especially in online marketing, content-wise and all those things, you need to commit first. You need to start taking action first, and then you will see the results and you will be able to act accordingly to those results. So that's my first advice for you. Now, we jump straight into Q&A time. I got 3 questions, 3 frequently asked questions that you guys will benefit from and that you will get answered. Let's get started with question number 1. Can social media marketing really help my business? Because we go all on those strategies, but what if it doesn't work? Yes, it can help every businesses. Hey, does your business need customers? If the answer is yes, which it is, then online marketing, social media is just another way to grab the attention of those potential customers. So definitely any business needs to have a presence online. Question number 2. What's the ROI on online marketing? Now, this questions, I'm going to be honest with you, I do not like that question, because everybody is trying to figure out what's the ROI of online marketing, or what's the ROI of the Instagram post I'm making. And the thing is, you don't know, because there are certain things you can quantify, like, for example, online advertising specifically, like when you're focused on conversions, number, cost per click, all the things like that, you can calculate the ROI, but you cannot do that on branding things, which are like content. You cannot understand the ROI of an Instagram post, but it can get you a podcast that can bring you a podcast deal with a guy that saw your post, and that can bring you millions of potential viewers and hundreds of customers. You never know. You cannot calculate ROI on such things, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to give you incredible results in return. Question number 3. Is social media marketing better for B2C, business to consumer, or to B2B, business to businesses? So which one is it better for? I would say they are equally great for either and for both of them. The thing is, the approach is maybe a bit different. That's the only thing that changed. But it's as efficient from one to the other. As I told in the first questions that I answered, every businesses, if they want more customers, need to attract them. And to find them, they can find them on social media. So those were the 3 questions. Now, I'm going to go zooming into the next section, but first I'm going to do a quick refresh. We do that every single day, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about how you can grow your presence online and you can make sure you grab some market share using online marketing. Right into the next section. Hey, I gathered the top 3 pillars of a great online marketing strategy. Now, I'm going to share you and drop with you some huge value right here. I got 3 pillars that you need to follow in order to have a great, solid, rock solid online marketing strategy. So number 1 is, pillar number 1, the content. You need to have solid content. And I talked about that especially in the last episode of Marketing Commandos, how to create content massively and make sure it works. You need to have that content figured out, because if you are not able to produce content, you become irrelevant. People don't believe in you because, whenever you are trying to buy something, you're always checking out on Instagram, websites, and all those things. If you do not have that set up, you're irrelevant. So you need to have that pillar installed. Next pillar, promotions material, because you can have content, things to say, but you need to promote toward the right thing. I talked about that yesterday as well in the last episode of Marketing Commandos as well, episode number 2, which is you should always be promoting something, always. Even if that's just sharing a post, even if that's just commenting on something or your product or services, but always be promoting something. So you need to have an inventory of material of things that you can promote. Because if you have a massive amount of content, you need a massive amount of things to promote, right? Next pillar number 3, is to have sales funnels, and that's incredibly important. I'm going to go over that into another episode more specifically, but having a sales funnel, which is basically a sales process on the internet, because I see that that's probably the number one mistake I see is people just putting things out there, but they don't have a process step by step where they know where and how to take their customers in order to make them convert. And the sales funnel is simply something like that. It's a process on the internet, like you have a sales process in real life. You have, you get your leads, you qualify them, you have a follow-up sequence, you qualify them, all those things like that. You have a process, exact same thing on the internet, and you need to have one. As simple as that. And I'm going to share with you a little bonus pillar, which is follow-up. Now, how do you follow up on the internet? There are tons of ways to do that. A few ones that I'm thinking about are email marketing. That's a way to follow up, and that's a really solid way to do that. I may do an episode dedicated on that, but email marketing is incredibly important. If you're doing like, hey, in the B2B space, something that can be interesting is, for example, whenever somebody hits your website, you directly call them up, you send them emails, you send them text messages. Those ways to have a follow-up strategy done, all those things are incredibly important as well, because oftentimes people are not going to buy in the first time, and oftentimes if you want to get that sale, you're going to have to follow up with them 5, 20 times. You never know, but you need to have that pillar set it up. All right, great. So here we go into the next section. I'm going to do a quick refresh again. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every day. We do that room, and you make sure that you learn some incredible strategies that will work forever. Because I'm not into the quick hack that's going to last 2 weeks game. I'm not into that. I'm into rock solid, evergreen online marketing strategies. Things you can take today, and that 30 years later you're going to say, "Man, Gabriel gave me a great tip 30 years ago." Sorry, and he knew his shit. You know what I mean. Let's go into the next section. How to create your online marketing strategy from scratch. So where do you start? Where should you start? I'm going to give you a specific framework, 3 quick steps on how to create your online marketing strategies from scratch. You start with nothing. It's going to get done right now. Step number 1, create an offer. You're going to start by the end. Oftentimes people start with what I'm going to share with you at the end, but I made the process simpler for you. Start by the end, create an offer. And what I mean by an offer is not my product. Make it sexy. Add a few other things. That's especially true for businesses that are selling things that are a commodity. If somebody else sells the same thing as you do, hey, you're going to battle on price, which is not the best option, because you're going to go and lower the price each time. That's not the best option. What you should do instead is bundle all the things in there to increase the value so you can charge a higher price, differentiate yourself from the competition, and can make as much money as you possibly can. So create a good offer, a great offer first. Basically, they should feel stupid if they don't buy your offer. Next step. Sell that offer with stories. Now, I'm going to go and make an episode specifically on how to sell using stories. But what you need to make sure, especially if you're into the one-to-many setting, which is pretty much a situation we are in when you're on social media, you need to make sure you build some value up on that offer. So then the value is increased, the perceived value is increased, and all the objections that your customer is thinking about, they are vanished. Because you may have the best offer, and you know it's going to help them. But if they don't believe it's going to help them, they're not going to buy that offer, and they are not going to get the help that you want to provide to them. So that's extremely important to make sure that you sell that offer extremely well. So that's the second step. Last step of the process is to create hooks that will grab your audience attention. And that's, I would say, all those steps are important, but especially that one. Why? Because, hey, a hook is basically something that grabs the attention of somebody of your customers. Let's say they're on social media and then they see your ad. Your ad has to grab their attention. Because if they just simply don't see it in the feed, they won't see you sell the offers that you got, and they won't get the offer that you created. That's as simple as that. So that's why it's really important, because if you do not grab their attention first, that's the first step of the process. If you do not grab them right now, you won't sell them your thing. So you need to make sure you have solid hooks, test different options. Oftentimes, like with that process, what you should do as well is test different options, test different offers, see which one works the best, test different stories, different ways to sell, test which one works the best, and do the same thing with hooks, specifically with hooks, headlines, creatives. Like, for example, make a bit, like if you do a post with a bright colors, that's going to grab attention. Maybe the text should be changed a bit. Tweak those options to see which one works the best and bring you as many customers as possible. Now, we're going into the last section of today's episode. I'm going to do a quick refresh. Thanks for Lee and Shannon for assisting, watching, actually listening on the Clubhouse. If you want to ask your questions live, I'm opening a Clubhouse room. Go and check out the club, Marketing Commandos. In the future, I'm going to make sure I include a segment in that show where you guys can jump on, unmute yourself, and ask questions directly to me. Every day, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check it out. Make sure you go into the Clubhouse room. Name is same name as the show, the club, Marketing Commandos. Make sure you put reminders on that. So, final thoughts. What are the final thoughts that we can get from this episode? Number one, focus on the long-term strategies rather than the short-term trends. That's incredibly important. I'm using the same processes that the guys that were doing newspaper ads 30 years ago, or now maybe 40, 50 years ago sometimes. I'm using the same processes because they are proven to work. Don't focus on searching what's the trend of the moment. TikTok's doing all that. That should be 20% of your time. But pretty much all your strategies should be based on pillars, rock solid principle that will always work. Number two, remember the 4 pillars. The 4 pillars I talked about. Content, sales funnel, something to promote, and follow-up. Remember, content, sales funnel, something to promote, and follow-up. Those are the pillars of every great, rock-solid, unbreakable online marketing strategy. And last one, make an offer. That's my process to make sure that you have a great online marketing strategy. So that's a quick reminder of the process. Make an offer, sell it with stories, and make hooks to captivate the audience. Remember, you should always have great hooks, because those are the things that are going to grab the attention of the viewer first, and make sure that they go through your sales funnel, your sales process, and ultimately make sure that you close the deal. So that's everything for today's episode. I'm going to do last refresh every day. We do that room, Marketing Commandos, where I share with you all the best things that you need to do in order to crush it online. And coming soon, we got some interviews coming soon. I'm going to bring on some guests. I'm going to bring you guys and make you able to participate on the show. You will be able to ask on the Clubhouse room that's dedicated for that, your questions live, and make sure that, hey, I answer them and you get your answers so you can go crush it. Make sure that you share the stream, you share the Clubhouse if you're on Clubhouse to somebody that wants to take his business to the next level. And that's pretty much all for today. I really appreciated having you guys on board.